Hey everyone, welcome to our lesson about solving literal equations. Before we go any further, let's make sure we understand what a literal equation is. That's an equation that has two or more variables in it. When we're solving literal equations, we're still going to be isolating a variable using inverse operations. The only difference is we need to be told what variable we're solving for. When it says we're solving for a variable, that's the variable we want to be all by itself. This is very useful when rewriting formulas. You'll often use these in science class. The answers are not always pretty, but they're very useful. So let's look at a few examples and then you'll try a couple on your own. Looking at problem number 1, we are going to solve 2x plus 7y equals 14 for y, meaning we want y all by itself. Now, my first step is going to be to move an entire term. I can move 2x all in one movement. I can subtract 2x from both sides. Let's see what that looks like now. If I do 2x minus 2x, that's 0 and it goes away. So 7y equals 14 minus 2x. I can't subtract 14 and 2x because they are not like terms. So I just leave it as 14 minus 2x. Now, my next step, still trying to get y all by itself, I need to undo this multiplication, so I divide both sides by 7. Alright, I've got 7 over 7, that becomes 1, so y equals, this is perfect, that's what we want, and 14 divided by 7 is 2. And 2 divided by 7 doesn't come out evenly, so we leave it as 2/7 x. There's your final answer. Again, not pretty, but it's your final answer. Let's look at another one. R equals c minus s divided by t, and we are solving for the variable c. This is the variable we want all by itself. So we need to start undoing these operations. Everything is divided by t, so I'm going to multiply both sides by t. The t's on the right side will now cancel, and I'm left with r times t equals c minus s. Okay, I still want to get c by itself, so I need to get the s away from it. It's a negative s, so I'm going to add s to both sides. The s's now cancel, and I'm left with c equals rt plus s. And that's your final answer. We'll leave it just like that. Catching on? Let's try a couple more. Looking at question number 3, I need to solve for h. So h is the variable I want all by itself. First thing I want to do is get rid of this 1/3. So the opposite of 1/3 would be multiplying by 3. Okay, multiplying by that reciprocal. So 3v equals, and the 3 and the 1/3 are going to cancel, ah. If I want to get h by itself, I need to undo this multiplication, so I'll divide both sides by a. My final answer is h equals 3v divided by a. Now, you may have noticed I flipped the sides that the h was on, and that's okay because these two expressions are equal to one another, so it doesn't matter which one comes first. I like to put the variable by itself on the left-hand side so it's a little more clear. Alright, question number 4. We are solving for m. We don't need to make this too complicated. Let's look at my equation. It's m divided by x equals k minus 6. I can do this problem in one step. I just need to undo the operation going on with the m. So since m is being divided by x, I'm going to multiply both sides by x. In doing so, my x's will cancel. I'm left with m equals x times k minus 6. This is where we need to be careful. It's x times the whole quantity, k minus 6. Let's practice distributing here. Make sure everything is simplified. M equals x times k, which is xk, and x times negative 6, so minus 6x. Notice that the x is on the left side here and on the right side with the 6. I can do that because I can multiply in any order. It does not matter which side the x goes on. I can multiply in any order. All right, it's your turn to try. Check out these two OYO problems. Try them and then check your answer. All right. We are solving for v. So I need to work on getting v all by itself. First thing I need to do is get this n away from it. So I have a plus n. I'm going to subtract n. Use that inverse operation. 4v equals d minus n. Don't worry, I can't subtract d and n, so I just leave it as d minus n. My last step then is to get this 4 away from the v. It's 4 times v, so I'll divide by 4, both sides. So my final answer is going to be v equals d minus n divided by 4. Can't do anything else with it. That's my final answer. Not the prettiest thing I've ever seen, but it's your answer. All right, last question. We are solving for j. All right, we don't have to make it any more complicated than it is. I've got this 3x on the same side as j, so I need to move the 3x to the other side. It's a positive 3x, so I will do the opposite and subtract 3x from both sides. So j equals p minus 3x. I'm all finished. All right, that's it. Hope you learned a little something about literal equations. If you've missed any of the questions, make sure you go back, check your work, and correct it. That's all for now. Stay tuned for the next edition from Garris Math.